प्रशांतात्मा विगताभीर ब्रह्मचारी व्रते स्थितः मनः संयम्य मच्चितो युक्त आसीत मत्परः. Hello friends, this is the 14th shlok of the 6th chapter of Bhagavad Gita, and today we will understand this shlok in detail. So let's first go over its meaning. So the shlok says, Prashant Atma Vigat, which means by moving towards peace, mind goes to Abhir Brahmachari Vrite Sthitah, which means the state of Brahmacharya, wow. Mana Sanyamya Machchito, which means in restraint the mind becomes free mind, Yukta Asita Matparah, which means gets joined to me. So here Shri Krishna is explaining that in the concentrated state, the mind goes to the state of peace, and by going towards the state of peace, it goes into the state where a person basically takes up the vow of brahmacharya, and then he states something which is very beautiful but also is sort of self-contradictory, where he says that a restrained mind is a free mind, and that is a mind which is joined to him. To him means to Shri Krishna. So over here what Shri Krishna is telling is that when a mind becomes concentrated, then that mind actually attains peace, and such a peaceful mind actually is a mind which automatically becomes a mind which is behaving in brahmacharya, which we will discuss more about that, but it starts behaving in a manner which is brahmacharya, and such a mind actually is restrained, but at the same time that is the mind which is free, and it is the mind which is associated or joined with the absolute truth, which actually is Sri Krishna, and he is the one who is the representation of Brahman. So the point here is with respect to the restrained mind going to peace and then becoming brahmacharya. So we have to understand what this brahmacharya is. So brahmacharya actually in these days have been mentioned as something which is related to celibacy, but that actually is a very limited view of brahmacharya. This is not really the full representation of what brahmacharya is, and it's quite unfortunate that nowadays brahmacharya has actually been limited to just being something which is related to celibacy. If you look at this word brahmacharya, then this can be broken down into two parts, where first part is Brahma and second part is Charya. Brahma actually we know is the absolute Godhead, which is the source of this universe and which is present inside all of us. Charya actually is daily routine, you can say, because Dincharya actually is your daily routine. So brahmacharya, then if you were to look at it like that, then it is a routine, or you can say the conduct which is consistent with Brahman. So it's not really just related to celibacy. It is a conduct which is consistent with Brahman. It's so unfortunate that we have right now limited brahmacharya to just celibacy, and by that what we have done is we have actually taken up the Abrahamic ideas of sex being a taboo. In the Sanatan civilization, sex has never been a taboo. We have always been quite open to the idea of sexual energy, and the Sanatan civilization has always encouraged people to explore their sexual energy and use it in the right manner. If you can use this sexual energy in the right manner, then you can really go down into the depths of our own characteristic, where the real essence of us actually lies. And so when we limit brahmacharya to just celibacy and we make sex a taboo, then we limit ourselves and we are never able to really explore into the depths of our psyche, wherein our true nature actually lies. So we have to understand that brahmacharya actually is not celibacy, it is a conduct which is consistent with Brahman. And if you were to look at Chandogya Upanishad, in that it has been clearly said that yadyagya ityachakshate brahmacharyam eva, which means that brahmacharya is the process of striving to perform yajna. And we have already understood that yajna is something wherein we are acting in a manner which is consistent with the divinity which is present inside us. We are acting in a manner wherein we are contributing all our actions in a way wherein the will of this divinity which is behind everything in this universe is imposed through us. And so when we are acting in that manner, that is what brahmacharya is. So now over here, when Shri Krishna is saying that a calm mind goes to brahmacharya, then we can understand what it is. A mind which is in control of the self, a mind which is not influenced by the emotions, that mind is in conjunction with the divinity which is present inside us. That mind is consistent with it. That mind is joined with Brahman which is present inside us, and that's why Shri Krishna says that he joins with me. So because Shri Krishna is the representation of Brahman, so a concentrated mind which is calm is a mind which is situated in the divinity present inside us, which is Shri Krishna. And because of that, the mind like that actually is not influenced by the feelings and emotions that arise inside us. The mind like that is actually the one which is influenced by the divinity inside us, by the intelligence inside us, and that intelligence and that divinity then starts to act through us by imposing its will in this universe. And so that's why he's saying that that action becomes brahmacharya, because the divinity starts to act through that person, because that person is not influenced by his own emotions, he is not influenced by the attachment and aversion which force us to act in a wrong manner. That person is not influenced by his own ego. That person is influenced by the divinity inside him. So that's why when a mind is concentrated, it becomes calm, and when it becomes calm, then that mind is in control of itself, and basically that mind then is behaving through the divinity, and that mind is situated in Shri Krishna, which is the representation of Brahman. And over here he clearly says that the mind which is restrained is the mind which is actually free, because a mind which is restrained is not affected by the emotions that arise inside us, and therefore that mind actually is free, because then that mind is acting through its own free will, it's not acting by the emotions. So that is the whole idea that is presented by Shri Krishna in this shlok. I hope that I have explained this shlok well to you. With that, I will close this video. I will see you all in the next video. Take care.